What's going on, guys? No More Wide here again with another video. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving, and hopefully you'll have a good Christmas coming up, which is soon. Man, I'm out here and it's freezing. Probably not as cold to you guys, whoever maybe lives up north, but where I'm at, it's 41 degrees and it's pretty cold for me. At least my hands are freezing and I'm out here trying to work on this car. As you guys know, in the last video when I went to the drag strip, I was seeing, well, I got a little bit of oil that spit out of my catch can, and I've been wanting to change the catch can to something different, something I don't want to say more permanent, but something a little better. So I tried to use this catch can that I have now just to kind of keep things cheap for you guys, and also on the forum that I'm on, just to keep things cheap so everyone could at least have some form of a catch can. It's come to the time where I need to upgrade this catch can system to something that has a little bit more capacity and something that could flow a little bit better. So, because right now what I think is happening is I don't think I have any major engine issues or turbo issues, at least not yet. I don't know. I'm hoping that installing this new system will alleviate the small amount of oil that I'm seeing sometimes. And keep in mind, to me it's all normal. My compression tests were all perfectly fine. I'm pretty sure the engine is fine. If anything, maybe this turbo is not doing so well, but we'll see. The can I have on here now is just some cheap Amazon can. It's I don't know, it was probably like $30, and then the hoses and everything, I don't know, I probably have like $60 completely invested into this little system, and it's been doing fine. It's been on the car for 2 years now, and it only just recently started getting a little oil coming out of it, but that's probably because the way I routed it doesn't make sense. But let me just show you guys what I have going on now. So if any of you guys have been following along for any amount of time, you would have known that I recently put this engine into this car. When I did that, I went on ahead and modified the valve covers. So the stock GE valve covers are a little bit different than the GTE valve covers in that they don't breathe together. The factory setup has a little PCV valve, which I still have back there, running up into this Y pipe, and I still have a PCV valve in there. Then I have this catch can running off this exhaust side into my can, and then I did, sorry, this was temporary. On one of these ports, I had this one coming in here, and then one of the ports went back right here, pre-turbo, and it was working fine. I would get like a light coating of oil in my intake tube every now and again if I made a really hard pull. Nothing serious. I had it like that for a little while, maybe a couple months or so, and it was fine. Then for some reason I decided to go to the racetrack and just put a filter on here, and that's when I noticed the oil coming out. So what I'm going to do now is basically I'm going to have both of these covers here. I'm going to drill and tap and put 2 new fittings in the back of these valve covers here, and then I'm going to go ahead and run those off into a catch can. I just don't know where I'm going to mount that catch can at quite yet, because the can I have is significantly bigger than this can here. So yeah, this is how I've had it set up, and like I said, it's been working more or less for the past 2 years. I haven't had any issues at all, really. Maybe every 1,000 miles I'd have maybe like this much fluid in there, so really nothing major. So yeah, I think it's just time to move forward now that I'm making 11-12 pounds of boost. I think that this engine is just breathing a little more, so I need to try and help it out. This box right here, Motion Raceworks, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this company. It's a very good company, mostly domestic stuff. This can is what I recommend to most people that I know making upwards of 1,000 horsepower. This can has been perfectly fine. This is what I got. I got their top loader. It's a dual 10AN inlet. Let me show you guys what it looks like. I already put some of the fittings on here. So it's a pretty big can. It's a really nice can. So it's internally baffled inside. It has all these mounting holes right here. You can mount the bracket wherever you want to mount it at. Really large opening right here for the filter, which is this filter that just sits on top. And then it has 2 10AN inlets. They do make one that has a single 12 inlet, but I'm trying to allow both of my covers to breathe, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this. But you could see this even compared to even compared to the other can, I mean, it's massive. It's much larger capacity. So I'm thinking I'm gonna mount it. I'm gonna remove this pipe, and there's a little spot right down on the frame rail. I think that's where I'm gonna end up mounting it at, because obviously if my battery was relocated, I could put it right there, but I'm not doing that stuff yet. I mean, I do plan to evolve this car, and I want to just do things once, but my thinking is if I mount it down here on the frame rail, obviously I'll have two hoses coming down. They'll be pretty long hoses. When the time comes that I do relocate this battery, I can just simply cut those hoses and put it over here and it'll be fine. Needless to say, I think I'm gonna mount it down somewhere down there if I can. But anyway, this is the can. It has a drain on the bottom. Pretty standard catch can. I got some 10AN PTFE hose, which is just this stuff here that I'm gonna use. Then I went on ahead and got, now what I think is gonna help me a lot is I'm using these fittings right here. These are from a company called ICT Billet, another big name in the domestic world. You can see, rather than just screwing in a normal 10AN fitting straight into the valve cover, these are baffled. So you can see the bottom down there. It's not just wide open so oil can just fly straight in there. It's designed to just knock some of the oil down and just breathe air straight out of the fitting here. I'll have those running into these tight 10AN 90s. I'll have two of these, one on one valve cover, one on the other valve cover. So I got these fittings in here. And then I'll obviously run the lines down into the catch can, which I'll have mounted. Now, ideally, you would maybe want to weld these to the valve cover, but I don't know how to weld and I haven't learned yet, so the next best option for me is to just drill and tap my own holes, which I'll do with this. I bought this Drill America little kit here. I believe this is a 7/8 inch by 14 tap. So it comes with a drill bit, comes with the tap, so I should be able to go on ahead and use that, use some thread sealant, and then these have O-rings on them, and I should just be able to screw these straight into the valve covers. At least that's my hope. I am going to remove the valve covers though before I start drilling, so that way I don't get any metal shavings or anything in there. So yeah, let me go on ahead and get these valve covers off, and then try and get these holes drilled out. I was thinking about adding some mesh in here. I don't know if it's maybe some stainless mesh or something else to help knock down the oil before it goes out of the fittings. But as you can see, the stock GE baffling is not the greatest. The GTE has a long baffle that comes out here, and it seemed to work better. So I don't know, I'm just gonna work with what I got, and hopefully this solves the issue of pressurizing my catch can so much, or at least spitting a bunch of oil into it. But anyway, let me just get to drilling these. This hole is where your PCV would usually go. I already pulled out the PCV valve, and I pulled out this grommet that sits in there. This side has this little pressed in fitting. It just sits right in there like that. All I did really was grab it with this wrench, kind of worked it back and forth, and eventually it just came out, and then I kind of just stuck it under it like this on the valve cover and just pulled it out, and it came out just fine. Oh, I am going to be using this Permatex, I probably can't read it, it's thread sealant. Yeah, let me see, high temperature thread sealant. I think it says 59214, I think. That's what I'm going to be using to seal the threads, along with there being an O-ring on here. Should be fine. Alright, I finally got the valve covers back on now. I do get another hose here to connect the little modification I made here in the front, because the other one was just kind of falling apart already. But do have the two 10AN fittings back there in the back. They look pretty good back there. So now I'm actually a little bummed out because I might not be able to run the Lexus engine cover on top. I really want to, because it really covers up the ugly crossover intake. But we'll see, because I do know when I stick these, I did get tight 90 fittings, but when I stick them on here, they're pretty tall. So let me screw one on here and show you what it looks like. So that is a fitting already. You can see how tall it is up on the engine, but nonetheless, function over form, right? So I'm gonna go on ahead and get another hose, get that back together. I already have all the coil packs and everything connected. Put the Y-Pi back on, put the intake stuff, throttle body on back on, and then I can go on ahead and cut and measure and make up some lines to get from over there to over here. Finally got everything back together. Just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Everything is fit nicely. This little big intake tube here fits right on top of that filter, no problem. Everything is clearing. I just put a zip tie over here on these lines to kind of keep them away from the intake air temperature sensor there. But aside from that, everything looks good. I won't really know until I go out and drive the car though, to see if it's going to be smoking or spitting out any more oil. I really hope it doesn't. I really hope that this, you know, solves that issue. And like I said, this is not the permanent spot for this catch can. Eventually, when I, you know, evolve this stuff and change the turbo setup, which I do plan on doing, just not now. I'll relocate the battery and put the catch can over there, along with the ABS unit over there, and put the battery in the trunk. But for now, this should do well. I'm a little nervous about if these fittings are going to leak, mainly because there's not too much thread back there, but I'm hoping that the thread sealant kind of stops that from happening. But overall, I'd say that it looks pretty good. So I've been trying for the last week to get a hold of the dyno operator to see if I can rent the dyno again, but it's just been hard to get an opening. I understand that people have, you know, vacations and it's Christmas time and whatnot, so there are a couple of dyno areas, or excuse me, there's a couple of dyno shops around where I live, so I've been trying to get a hold of someone because I really want to get this car back on the dyno, try to get a video out there for you guys, because I really think that this thing is going to make over 400 wheel horsepower. At least that's the goal, and I think it'll do it. So this catch can was definitely one step that I needed to do before I went to the dyno, because I have turned up the boost quite a bit and I just need this engine to breathe, as well as your guys' engines. If you're making big boosts, it makes sense to have a catch can setup that's adequate to be able to flow what it needs to flow, and that old Amazon can just wasn't it. So it did all right for a while, low boost, you know, 5 to 7 pounds, it was fine. As I started turning the boost up, I just think that it wasn't able to keep up with the demands that I needed, but I'm hoping that this setup does, and we'll see how it goes. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated. I'm probably not going to go drive it right now. I gotta go do other things, but I hope this helped you guys out, at least to see how I did this. This definitely probably is I don't know, it's probably the best way to go about doing this, aside from possibly welding in the fittings. But you know, threading them in like I did should be fine, fingers crossed. But yeah, if it's your first time in the channel, appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.